What's up, Raiders fans? It's Heidi Fang here to bring you the Raiders 2024-2025 season schedule, which is now official. Their first game of the year takes them to Los Angeles, where they'll face the rival Chargers. The first home game of the season will be against the Carolina Panthers. And in other key matchups, they have a fitting Black Friday game in Kansas City on November 29th and face the Falcons for Monday Night Football on December 16th. And closing out the year, well, close to it, the team goes up against their former quarterback, Derek Carr, in New Orleans. Joining us now to break it all down is Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore. Vinny, as you look at the whole schedule, what are just your overall thoughts on what you see here?
Well, I mean, to start the season, first of all, it's the Harbaugh brothers. Jim Harbaugh, his welcome back to the NFL, is going to come against the Raiders over at SoFi Stadium. And then a week later, it's John Harbaugh and the Ravens. So let's talk about that for a second. 1-2 punch against the Harbaugh brothers. I don't know if that's ever happened before to start a season. And then, it's Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, his first game with the Chargers, Justin Herbert with the Chargers. A week later, Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP of the NFL. That's a daunting way to start the season without question. So I think right off the bat, for the second straight year, having to play 2 games on the road, a daunting task, to say the least, for the Raiders to start the season.
Additionally, I was curious, what is the most intriguing matchup on this schedule to you?
Well, as far as intriguing, obviously going to Kansas City to play on Black Friday, a day after Thanksgiving, that's always a tough trip, a tough week. A weird way to go about it. I don't think the Raiders have ever played a Friday game. I counted 7 games that the Raiders are going to play against teams that made the playoffs last year. A bunch of those are on the road, so that's not always easy. So it's a tough schedule. It's part of the reason or the result, I should say, of the Raiders finishing in second place in the AFC West. They drew the second place schedule. So a daunting schedule, to say the least, for Antonio Pierce in his first year, starting with that tough road at the very top with 2 road games. But they do finish with 3 games out of their last 4 at home. So if they are in the playoff mix coming down the stretch, it's certainly going to help that they're going to be playing those games at Allegiant Stadium, or the majority of those the last 4 games at Allegiant Stadium.
As some of the sports books have it right now, Vinny, the win total is looking at about 6.5 for the Raiders season. What would you think when you look at this schedule? Just give me your quick projection on what you see the season going like for the Raiders.
Yeah, I've got the Raiders floor at about 6 or 7 wins, and I think their ceiling is about 9 or 10 wins. And a lot of it's going to come down to the play of their quarterback. I think the Raiders are in good shape on defense. They bring 10 of 11 starters back. 9 of the 11 starters, although one of those cornerbacks, Jacorian Bennett, started the season as a starter, ended up losing his job to Amik Robertson, but he's back. And then the only other outsider that's starting for the defense is Christian Wilkins, and he's a massive upgrade at defensive tackle over Jerry Tillery and the players that they had at that position last year. So a defense that gave up the 9th fewest points in the NFL, 3rd straight year under Patrick Graham. This defense, I think, is going to be one of the premier defenses in the NFL. It's going to keep the Raiders in a lot of games. That said, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, is it the best quarterback room in the NFL? Obviously not, but it's probably not the worst either. It's somewhere in between that. And I think if the Raiders could get higher in between, top 15, top 14 quarterback play, they're going to be in a lot of games this year, and I think that they would give themselves an opportunity to potentially play for a playoff spot. But a lot of things are going to have to go right offensively, offensive line, the new weapons that they've brought in, Zamir White playing well at running back, and first and foremost, they got to get good quarterback play this year from either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew.
Fair enough. All right, Vinny, thank you so much for the time. And everyone, I want to encourage you to check back here at VegasNation.com next week, because Raiders organized team activities begin. That's when the fun starts getting underway at the Henderson headquarters, and we're going to have you covered. So make sure to check that out. For Vinny Bonsignore, I'm Heidi Fang. Thank you so much for watching.